internet, and welcome to A Traveling Knitter. This is chapter 65 and it is July 19. I never know what the date is. My name is Steph and I am podcasting to you from downtown Columbus, Ohio in the United States. We're gonna do all of the life talks at the end of the podcast instead of ranting a little bit at the beginning like I feel like I normally do. So we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about a finished object because I'm so excited about this, and this is not the finished object I thought I would be sharing. It's my Soldotna Crop. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it. I love it. So it is, it is complete. The ends are woven in. It is blocked, which is why it's so very flat. And I'll even show you the back, which doesn't look that bad. So this, I followed the pattern. I knit, I think the second size, and then I did do one extra repeat of the body rounds, which, yeah. It doesn't look as Christmassy anymore, and I think it's because there is not a lot of green. So I love this, and if I wear this enough, I'm probably gonna knit another one. I definitely want to either make or buy a skirt to go with it. But anyway, this is Soldotna Crop by Caitlin Hunter. I knit mine out of deep dyed yarns, and the colors did not have colorway names, so essentially I used a green, a coral color, a burgundy color, and then this cream which has quite a lot of pink to it. And I have quite a lot of yarn left. I have not weighed what I have, but I am going to be making like a hat, like a winter hat. And I think I'm going to use the Strange Brew book, the mountain. I want to say Misty Mountains, but that's like from Lord of the Rings. But I feel like that's what it's also called. Yeah, Jody from the Grocery Girls, she knit a hat with that pattern. It's a color. Kept wanting to say color block. It's a color work motif that you knit in a sweater, but she did it on a hat, and I think that would work out great. Or I might pull motifs from the sweater to put into that, but really I'm not gonna wear this sweater with a winter hat because this is not, I don't plan to wear this when it is freezing cold when I would want to wear a hat. So yeah, super happy that I have another short sleeve sweater off the needle, and completely finished. So I just need to take some pictures of it and cast on some other sweaters, which I did say plural. You'll see that later. But for current objects, or current quests as I like to call them, the project that I thought I would finish, that is my 3-color cashmere cowl by Joji Locatelli. And we are into the contrast or third color. So there. Last time I was right there where that stitch marker is, and I have knit quite a bit. But clearly I finished the Soldotna, so that is why this isn't finished. But this is going to be done on the next podcast. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, I love knitting with this yarn because it's got cashmere in it, and it is soft. I love how simple this pattern is, yet it's going to be beautiful. The yarn I'm using is Sun Valley Fibers, which I purchased at Stitches Midwest, which is unfortunately canceled. like everything is canceled in the United States. Actually the Soldotna, the deep dyed yarns, I purchased that at a yarn festival in Kentucky, in Lexington. So this, again, Joji Locatelli 3-color cashmere cowl, Sun Valley fibers in Kent, Smoke Signals, and Cheeky are the colorways. And yeah, I don't know what else there is to really say about it. I'm excited to have this done. It is, how hot is it today? I think it's like 85 degrees. So I will not be wearing this anytime soon, but I am excited. Honestly, are we gonna be able to go outside? You know, we're almost, like, I went to Joanns with a mask on. Fall was there. Like, the scent of fall and fall was there. In my mind, we're still in spring because I haven't, like, done any major things. But anyway, am I even gonna get to wear this year? Who knows? I'll wear it inside my house. How exciting. Yeah, anyway, yeah, so I've been working on that, and I've got quite a bit still to go with this color, and then I've got 2 more sections. I am a little nervous about running out of yarn. So the yarn I purchased is a kit to make this. This is all I have left, and I need it for 2 more sections. Granted, the second section is, I only need it, I think I counted, I need to do 18 more rounds. I'm not feeling confident that this is gonna get me 18 rounds. The other color, yeah, I'm fine with that. So what I'm thinking I might do is, if I do end up running out, then I will use the contrasting, the Cheeky colorway, as the other color in the last section. But we'll see. I will try to make it work because I don't want to do that, but if I have to, I have to. Yeah, 3-color cowl sets, 200 yards each. I don't know. I feel like something's off with the light color. The next thing, I have not put a lot of work into this, but I have finished 1 more section, and that is my birds of a feather. Oh, I'll move all the stitch markers or the progress keepers. So here it is. My Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry. It is inside of Lina issue 2. You can also buy it, you know, on its own. This, I'm not enjoying the increases. So the increases are done on both sides, so the right side and the wrong side. And they're done by doing a yarn over 1 stitch in. And the reason why I don't like that is because I always slip my first stitch so that my edge is pretty, right? Like it's a nice flat edge. Well, that's like kind of a nightmare when you're slipping to immediately doing a yarn over. Yeah, so I'm not really keen. I don't really like that very much. And knitting with just the straight mohair is not like super exciting. So I'm not enjoying this as much as I had hoped I would be. Really the biggest part is the yarn over increases that I really am not liking those. So yeah, I'm quite far in the physical pattern, even though I feel like I'm not far at all with this shawl. But oh well. I'm knitting this on Teal Torch Knits, and it is the sock yarn, which is in A Sunday Kind of Love, and then her fluff, which is in sinking in my soul. So these are the two colors. Loving the two colors. And I have this in my Fringe field bag, which honestly came as a shock to me that the Fringe Supply Co. is shutting their doors. I don't know. I feel like of all of the bag makers that are in the knitting craft world, I feel like Fringe Supply is the most well-known. Last thing that I've been working on is my design. So I'm just gonna scrunch it up and show it to you. Here it is. Oh, it looks so tiny. I would say it's 25% done. And this is using Woolen Boon in Butterbeer colorway, and then some minis that were in my hair is everywhere, that were in an advent calendar. So I have this in my Hannah-Lisa Heffekampf bag, which also she no longer makes the bags. She's kind of moved on to making stories as her full-time job, which that's fine. But as soon as I heard that, I was like, well, now's the time, I gotta buy one. So, and I really like it. I really like it. On the horizon, I have a lot on the horizon because I'm just like excited to start stuff. So let's talk about this guy. On my Make 9, which, have I even finished anything on my Make 9? I don't remember. But on my Make 9, I have All of the Lights by Joji Locatelli, and I have printed the pattern out. So All of the Lights is her really cabled coat almost, and she knit it with speckled yarn. And I was like, well, that's great because now I can tell what it looks like with a speckled yarn. And I went to Vogue Knitting Live in Columbus last year, at the end of last year, and I special ordered a sweater's quantity of Sprout DK from Fiber Seed, and it's in the colorway Rustic, and it looks like this. So it's, I would say it's like medium speckled in a yellowish cream base, and then it's brown, and the brown almost goes a little bit red. I think it's gonna look amazing. I've only caked up 2, but I do have, I think, 7. I think I need a new ball winder because I am epically failing with my ball winder, and honestly my Swift as well. The Swift I bought, I was in college, I did not have a lot of money, and I found one for like $20 in China. And it's been, I think I bought it my freshman or sophomore year. I mean, it's been at least 8 years of using this $20 Swift, and the yarn ball winder is from Knit Picks, and it's clacking. My yarn like pops off the top of it because it's shaking so much. So I think I need to invest in a whole new setup there. So and I love winding my yarn, so it hasn't been enjoyable to do that. This is in my Darn Yarn MN bag, which is like a peekaboo bag, and I got this at the very first time I went to Stitches Midwest. The next project is in this bag again, and this is Savion. It's a cardigan. It is by, I was looking for her last name. I don't print the first page of patterns because it takes up a lot of ink, and a lot of times that's the only place that the designer puts their name. But it's Audrey from the Yarn Flakes podcast. I don't have her last name because I think that's what she goes by for her designs. But anyway, I was looking if there was another picture. It is a cardigan, and I am going to knit it out of, again, like, look how giant this is. Oh, do I not? Okay, yeah, I do. This is Hey Sister Yarns in their Fantastic Yarn line. I think this is their MCM, Merino Cashmere Nylon, and it is in their Sepia colorway. The pattern calls for sport. Yeah, it calls for sport, but sport is pretty close to fingering, and I knit very loosely, so I'm thinking I'm going to get gauge with a fingering weight anyway. So that is another thing I want to cast on. And what's kind of funny is I have yet to knit a cardigan, and I am casting on 2 cardigans. Lastly, there is a it's kind of like a cowl, but it's not a cowl, that Making Stories is putting on. And basically, if you just take a picture of, I'm pretty sure your work in progress or your finished object on Instagram, or they have a thread on their website, I think. But if you do that, then you'll be entered into prizes. Yeah, but anyway, so I did print off 3 pages because I'm going to knit the Abisco socks. There is a sweater that I want. I think it's the Sabine sweater. It starts with an S. That's the sweater that I really want to cast on, but really, I've got 2 others that I'm basically ready to cast on, so I'm like, no, just do socks. And I went through I have a basket of commercially produced sock yarn, and I was reminded that I have Morris & Sons Estate 4-ply, and it's 100% Australian wool. Morris & Sons was this yarn store that my best friend and I found while we were walking around Sydney. And I bought yarn and I've not knit with it. And I was in Australia in 2014. I'm a hoarder. It's a little harsh. I like to have 2 forms of gratification. The gratification of purchasing the item, and then the gratification of using it. And I like those to be spread apart. So, yeah, these are 50-gram skeins. They are in the colorway Marine Green. And I'm going to be knitting the Abisco socks by Linda Dubie and entering them into the cowl. That's not really a cowl. Also, I want to show you my adorable project bag. I made this. I made this a while ago, actually. And I put a cute bell pin, and then I have beads, which brings me to my Etsy shop. I've had an Etsy shop. I don't think I've ever talked about it on the podcast. But I think I started it in 2015. But never like really did anything with it. But this weekend I decided to change that. I am going to be selling project bags, and my goal at this moment is to not make super fancy ones with like hardware and all that stuff, to keep costs down and to keep the price down. And I'll be honest, I like the hardware, but I don't use it. I don't use the hardware on any of my bags. None of them. Like the D-rings, the what other things are there called? Basically any time, like here, this jump ring, not gonna use that. The clasps that are in here, they're nice, But again, I'm not gonna, wow, that was lightning. It's weird because it's like not dark. But anyway, I don't use it. So I'm not gonna put those on my bags. But anyway, I thought I would show you. Here's one of them. Right now I'm just gonna do a small size. I might go bigger, but right now these are the small sets. So it's definitely going to be enough for socks. It would also work for a hat, and it would work for a cowl, like the 3-color cashmere cowl. It would be a little squished in there, but it would still work. So here's the bag, and it does have a bottom, a box bottom. And the inside lining for this one is just like a linen. Boop, boop, boop. There you go. And I can close it for you. And it fits nicely. Honestly, it's not stuffed. I could fit probably a pair of socks still in here. So here is the project bag. And I'm going to have 2 of that. And then I will also have another one where it's just the teacups, and then it fell. This contrast color will be the lining on the inside. And then I have 2 of these guys where there's birds and florals, but then the bottom will be different. This will also have that neutral. And then this one will be a Minnie Mouse bag, and the lining fabric will be dots. So as of right now, there will be 6 bags in the shop by the end of this weekend. And if you're interested, I will have the link below. The shop is called A Traveling Knitter. That is my new endeavor, is project bags. The next segment is called A Novel Idea, which is where I talk about the books that I've read. And I've read a book! Oh, I've read a book, guys! A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. So that's how I pronounced her name when I was little. I'm sorry, but a trash bag just floated past my window. I'm on the 9th story. How did they get up here? I don't understand how that works. Whatever. I read A Wrinkle in Time when I was little. Like, we're talking elementary school. And I think I've read 5 of her books. But anyway, Madeleine L'Engle is how I always pronounced it, so now it's just stuck in my head, and I don't know if that is actually how you pronounce her name. But anyway, I'm sure everyone has heard of A Wrinkle in Time. Not only because it was a Newbery award winner. When did she get it? I would assume it would be when the book was published, which would be 1962. But it could have been 1963, you know, depending on publishing and award dates. But anyway, so this is the first in a quartet, and a movie was made. I have not seen the movie, but I mean, it had Oprah in it, it had Reese Witherspoon in it, and Mindy Kaling, like big stars. But I heard that it didn't get good reviews, and here I am several years later rereading the book, and I'm disappointed. I remember loving this book. I love this book. I thought it was so good. I love fantasy, and you know, this is quintessential kid fantasy, but I was disappointed. I ended up giving it 3 stars because I had a hard time rating it anything lower because of my fond memories of this book. But one of my big complaints, and I guess it's the style of how it's written. I've read quite a lot of books that are old children's books. I mean, I read the Oversea Understone series, which is written very similar to this, where the climax of the book is right here on page 195. And then the end of the climax is on 196. And then the end of the book is 198. It's not the way books are written now, so it made me sad that this isn't as good as I remember. Okay, so this is my segment where I promote a Black woman who is crushing it somehow. And this time I wanted to bring up the company called Flower and Folk. They are a like soap, smelly good stuff. Oh, that brings up another story. Side note, when I was in middle school, we had, so bizarre. In middle school, we always had, we had this designated locker. In middle school, we all had lockers, but then we had this communal locker where we put all of the sprays. Basically, we just had a lot of Bath and Body Works body sprays, and we called them smelly good stuff. So, and you didn't keep your smelly good stuff in yours. Everyone shared, and you shared with the other. I mean, we were friends, so we like told each other in the other gym classes, hey, locker 17 is where the smelly good stuff is. So, and we had like a lock on it that a couple of us knew the combination for. Anyway, it just made me think of that by calling this a smelly good stuff. But we called any sort of spray a smelly good stuff. Wow, that took me back. Yeah, but anyway, this smells so good. This is blueberry mint. It's scented with blueberry, vanilla bean, and cream, infused with eucalyptus essential oil to calm and heal the skin, and it is a handmade soap bar. I'm a sucker for hand soap. I love hand soap. I own so much hand soap. I love it. And what I think is so nice about hand soap, one, it lasts, in my opinion, longer than the soap that comes out of the dispensers. Hand soap looks so pretty on a soap tray. I have a handmade soap bowl that I bought at a craft show, and I love it. I freaking love it. It's so awesome because it looks so nice in my bathroom. The soap sits on top of this waffle piece that's inside of the bowl, so you're not like the soap doesn't get stuck where you're trying to dig it out. And also, when I take the soap out, I can actually use that waffle thing to clean my makeup brushes. So all around winner on that. But I feel like these just last longer and they look pretty and they're not that expensive. And you know, so many people make soap, and when you go to craft shows, I feel like I can't leave a craft show without buying someone's handmade soap because it's not very expensive, but any sale, you know, helps this person. This made me just go down a rabbit hole of looking for handmade soaps because I love them. What is what is cool is they also had solid shampoo. I haven't used it yet. It looks so pretty. It's just a pretty bar of soap. So, and that was Flower and Folk. And they ship free in the United States. So if you live in the United States, shipping was free. There was no minimum. So that was exciting. On to my life. I went to Joanns, as I mentioned, and I bought some books because first, this attracted me because I went to Joanns specifically to buy lining fabric. And I was like, you know, I wouldn't mind branching out and I really like the bags that are in here. So, for example, they have a basic tote. I'm cool with that. I can do that. I think that would be something really cute. I think for me, I like to have the blueprints for something, and then I will work off of it. So I was really excited to see this, and they also had all of their books 30% off. So that was quite exciting. I'm sure you can buy this on Amazon for cheaper, but you know what? Joann's is still a big box store. But really, guys, let's try and support someone other than Amazon. I will say I order from Amazon. I do, but I try to buy things that, you know, I try to go somewhere else, because Amazon, more so than Apple, is going to take over the world. Have you seen how much money Bezos has? Sure, it's in his company, but it's a lot. Like, it's a lot of money. And Amazon isn't, like, we have other companies that are, like Bill Gates, he's trying to find a cure for this. Is Jeff Bezos? No. And I mean, I wish I had thought of coming up with something like Amazon. Of course I'm jealous of him for thinking of that, but I don't know. Amazon hurts a lot of other companies, but anyway, I'm sure you can buy this on Amazon for cheaper, but really, this cost me $20 minus 30%, so, you know, 14 plus tax. This was worth it. I also really like the fabric that's in here. Then, just CrossStitch magazine, not on sale. This was $10. This is the Halloween edition. Remember how I was talking about how there's fall in Joann's? There's Halloween in there too. I normally don't pick up just CrossStitch magazine because, I don't know, I'm normally not a big fan of the projects that are in here, but there were a couple I liked. This one up here, with the outline of a pumpkin with the cats. I really like that one. And it's kind of grouped by things. So there's like the cat. I really like both of these. So this is just a simple Happy Halloween. And then this is another one that's like a saying or a quote. So that looks cool. Oh yeah, this one. It's called Grave Fellows, and it's turkey vulture and crows on top of graves. That's funny. So I like that. This one is an owl on top of books. So cute. So they have like smalls, and then they have bigger ones. There's some bookmarks in here. I like this one a lot too. That's really cute. You need buttons for it. Oh, this one. I love this one. I love this one. It's like a house with pumpkins, and I think it's a cat. Yeah, I really like that one. Actually, I think I like all of the ones that are houses on this page. This one the most, though. I thought this was quite good. You know, I feel like a lot of times there's more things I don't like, and it's just kind of cutesy. This is actually the reason why I even bothered to pick this one up. We wish you a happy Halloween. Yeah. So yeah, just CrossStitch Halloween 2020 edition. I really like it. And then lastly, I found this. It's called For the Love of Paper Botanicals. 160 tear-off pages for creating, crafting, and sharing. Includes stationery, note cards, stickers, gift tags, and posters. I love stationery. I love stationery. I love it so much. I wish people were still into, you know, writing letters and being pen pals. During this quarantine, I tend to write letters to friends every now and then. of which I have written to all of my friends, and most don't write back. I think it's because they just don't have like stamps readily available. I have a lot of stamps because I like to go buy the new stamps when they come out. It's not that I collect them, other than the Harry Potter ones. I have collected them, which I'm not gonna get on the Harry Potter thing right now. I found this, and oh my gosh, apparently there's 2 more, so I think I'm gonna go find those. Probably have to go to Amazon, but anyway, it is just chock full of postcards and stickers, and there's like 2 notebooks in here, and envelopes and posters, like really like cardstock posters that you can frame. I love it. I love it. So this one was, I think this was, yeah, this one was $25. So minus 30%. So I was really excited for all those things that I got at Joann Fabrics. Other things that are going on in my life, NWSL Challenge Cup. My team is the Portland Thorns, which you may be wondering why, because I don't live in Portland, nor have I ever been to Portland before. It's because my favorite soccer player is on that team, Tobin Heath, who I have talked about before. But I also am a big fan of Christine Sinclair, who is Canadian, so she plays on the Canadian national team, but also on the Portland Thorns. She is officially the all-time international goal scorer of both men and women in soccer. She surpassed Abby Wambach last year, so she's on that team. Also, Lindsay Horan is on that team, who is a really great player. Emily Sonnet used to play, but she was traded a couple months ago to the Orlando Pride, which is another one of my, so I have 3 favorite teams. I really like the Orlando Pride, but for some reason they don't play very well. They're also not in the tournament because there was several positive tests for COVID, so they did not join the bubble. Sydney Leroux plays for Orlando Pride, who she's one of my favorite players. Also, if you know anything about soccer, and you've heard of some of the people, you probably heard of Alex Morgan or Rapinoe. Alex Morgan is on the Orlando Pride team. A lot of the women that played on the national team are not currently playing in the cup. So, but yeah, anyway, the Portland Thorns, they're typically a really good team, like arguably one of the best, and they did terrible. They're terrible on, well, not terrible, but they're just not good during the tournament. And so they ended up in last. So they're the last seed playing, so they were number 8 playing number 1, and they won. And it was so crazy. I was on a conference call and I had it muted, and I was just like fist pumping and kind of like shaking and mouthing like, yes, yes. I was so excited. So yeah, huge upset. If you don't watch soccer, you probably care nothing about it, but man, I was so happy. Honestly, it was like the happiest I've been all week, but whatever. Yeah, next thing, I'm gonna be visiting my parents, not next week, but the week after, and I'll be there for 2 weeks, which means I will be there over a weekend of when I should be filming and uploading a podcast. So I'm not going to. The next podcast will be in 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks. So just as a heads up, my parents live outside of Chicago, and they really wanted me to visit, and nothing's happening, so I'm going to go. Tickets are so cheap right now for flying. I paid less than $100. But yeah, so I'll be at my parents for 2 weeks, working from home. I'm not taking vacation. I'm just working from there because it's the same as working here. And lastly, let's talk about Ravelry. I'll be honest, when I first saw the Ravelry changes, I was kind of excited because I like them. I do like it. And then I started hearing people, well, basically I like read the post of people complaining about it, and at first all I was seeing was the complaints, was the I don't like it. And hear me out. My previous job was training people on software that basically an upgrade to their software. And that's all you hear is people, I don't like change. I hate the phrase change is hard. I hate it. It's not hard. You're just being lazy. Like, just try. So that's kind of how I went into it, was that my outlook of, well, of course people are going to be upset. So I was reading this, I'm like, of course, you sprang this without telling anyone, without giving anyone warning. Of course you're going to get complaints. But then I started seeing people saying that they're having seizures and migraines and, you know, all these other things. I'm like, well, you know, that's a problem. And then come to find out that Ravelry didn't have their website vetted by, like, companies that do that to make sure that websites don't cause harm to people using them. That they didn't do that. Ravelry's not this tiny company anymore. Like, it makes a lot of money. There are hundreds of thousands of people who use this website on a day-to-day basis. And the fact that they didn't, like, oh, well, we just used, you know, our friends and family and then a small beta test. That doesn't fly for what Ravelry is. It's a large website. Sure, it's still only run by 6 people, but the amount of usage that that site gets and the amount of revenue that that site makes, no. So, I don't have any problems using the website. I like the website, but I have changed mine back to the original because I don't understand. It's not that I don't. Okay. Ravelry has said that the majority of people that are using the site are using the new site. So why should they change it back? Well, probably because the people who can't use the site are not using the site. Like, that logic doesn't make sense to me. Well, of course the majority of people are using the new version. If you made the default the new version and people can't use it because of the new version, but the people who can use it are okay with it, like, of course you're gonna get more users using the new version. I don't know, this is like, what kind of logic is that? So yeah, anyway, I recommend, you know, if you can use Ravelry, if you like the new version, that's cool. Change it back to the old one to get their numbers so that they can see something. If you are unable to use Ravelry and you would like someone to switch it over, let me know. I mean, I can do that for you. Basically, all you would need to do is just change the password to something, give it to me, and then I'll log in, change it for you, log out, and then you change your password again. That would be the simplest thing. So if you do need help with that, let me know. I can definitely do that for you, but otherwise, let's just change it back until they do something more than what they are doing. I mean, it's been what, almost a month? Whatever. So frustrating. I think we're gonna end the podcast there. I'm probably close to an hour again, even though I was trying not to be. But I'm gonna edit and post. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new, welcome! If you've been wondering what the shirt is that I'm wearing, it's Journey to the Past. It's from the Anastasia musical that I saw in New York City with my best friend and my mom. where was I going? Oh, you can follow me on social media. I am Lulu is Crazy on Ravelry, personally. And then my personal Instagram is also Lulu is Crazy. If you would like to follow the specific podcast social medias, we are a Traveling Knitter podcast on Instagram, as well as a Traveling Knitter podcast on YouTube as the group. And then lastly, if you'd like to follow me on if you would like to follow me on Goodreads, I am Lulu is Crazy on there as well. If you've never heard of Goodreads, it is a fabulous website for book lovers. It's like Ravelry, but for books. And it is run by way more than 6 people because it generates, probably more money than Ravelry, because I think the publishing industry is a bit larger than the knitting world. But it is fabulous. You can make lists, you can check other people's lists, you can track what you've read, you can write reviews, you can read other people's reviews, you can just rate stuff with stars, you can track upcoming novels. If you're at a bookstore and you're like, oh, is this the first book in a series? I don't know. You can use Goodreads to scan it and it will tell you. Mainly I used to do that at the library. If you want to read a bunch of fantasy books, go on to Goodreads, you'll find them. Yeah, I'm so close to having read 900 books. Pretty excited. I'm 10 away. So yeah, if you want to see all the books that I've ever read in my lifetime that I've remembered to track on Goodreads, go there. I've been using it since 2009. Basically since I started using Ravelry. Anyway, that is it. I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.